Good morning, everyone. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you're here. All right, so before we get into this Dave Ramsey video about a caller who is $62,000 in student loan defaults, we're not talking in debt. It's called they have the debt, they are behind on paying the debt. But before we do that, I thought I would, because I really want this channel to help people out, I thought I would inform you that there are programs through the federal government to help you with catching up your default loan. So I'm going to go ahead and just minimize the screen, and we're just going to take about 60 seconds, okay, to help my viewers out. This is on federal student aid, okay, so studentaid.gov, and that's aid, A-I-D, studentaid.gov, or you could just Google in federal student aid Fresh Start. So this Fresh Start program, okay, I'm reading right here. It is a one-time temporary program from the U.S. Department of Education, okay, meaning ED, the Education Department, that offers special benefits for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. Now, I do know that right now with student loans starting up again, people, if you are in default, I cannot beg you enough. Contact your servicer. Okay, whether that's Mohila or whomever you have, because they're being more generous than ever right now in catching up these loans. They're aware that, a bunch of people were in default, then the pandemic hit, then everybody, pretty much froze on paying anything. A few people did pay, but I think it was around less than 10%, okay, did pay. But obviously the people with defaults, most of them, if not all, pretty much all of them, just let their loans go. But now with payments starting back up, and some people were in October right now, so some people haven't even actually made their first return payment yet, especially as we're on the on-ramp period, which basically means you don't have to pay anything till October, August, September, October, right around there, 2024. But keep in mind, this on-ramp period is charging you interest. Interest started on September 1st. If you are in default, I want you, and you have federal loans, I am imploring with you, get onto federal student aid, okay, .gov. And you're gonna and you're just gonna look up Fresh Start, okay? Fresh Start, and I'm quoting, okay, because I know not everybody's always looking at the screen when they're hearing me. So it says here, Fresh Start automatically gives you some benefits such as restoring access to federal student aid, loans, and grants. But you need to act to claim the full benefits of Fresh Start and get out of default. Sign up for Fresh Start for free using one of the methods below, and the federalstudentaid.gov site will help you. If your loans are in default, you do not want to leave them there, clearly. But if you are on public service loan forgiveness, it's even more important than ever, because if you are wanting PSLF, the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, they will not put you on it until your loan is out of default. And that may require that you have to pay a few months to get it out of default. But if you take no action, you just let it stay there, you're never, ever, ever going to get that PSLF. And the further we get from the rollout start date, because the payments are starting right now, the further you wait, the further you get along, the further away you get from that, the less and less friendly it's going to be to get your loans out of default. So take advantage of this Fresh Start program. I hope that helps somebody out. Okay, if I can do anything to assist you, by all means, write me in the comments section. I will see what I can do for you. But I'm just imploring with you, don't be afraid to call in. Call in, okay? Face it. You just sometimes have to get up and go, you know what, I'm going to make that call. You are totally capable of doing it. I have confidence in you, okay? So please make that call. So I hope this helped. All right, that was just the detour I want to take. I'm going to scroll down on the screen here. So well, I guess I can't really scroll down, but it's studentaid.gov, and it's called Fresh Start, and that's literally what it's called, Fresh, Start, S-T-A-R-T, okay? So there we go. All right, so now we're going to go to the Dave Ramsey video. And if I did this correctly, I should just be able to click on the screen, and here we are. Okay, so this is titled, I've defaulted on my $62,000 student loan. Again, just a reminder, and welcome to the new people also, and thank you so much for getting me to 700 subscribers. I gotta tell you guys, this is a lot of work, but I'm so passionate about it, and I just really, really want to help you guys, and I appreciate those of you who have taken the time to watch, comment, and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. I mean it. It really, really does. So thank you so much. Okay, I've defaulted on my $62,000 student loan. This is from Dave Ramsey. Let me see if I can minimize the screen down here. Down we go. All right, folks, let's hear it. see, where's the button? Here we go. It's about a 3.5 minute video, but with me, I got a lot to say sometimes.
Katie is in Jackson. Good afternoon, Katie. How can Dr. D and I help?
Yes, I have a question about student loans. My husband and I started our baby step journey in July of 2019, and we are finally on our last debt, which is my $62,000 in student loans.
Well, at least as she said, they're on their last debt. This video was 2 years ago, so this video was during the pandemic. Okay, just what we were talking about. Okay, and their loans are in default. This is 62,000. That's a whole lot better. Could be 162,000, right?
We have not paid on them in over 5 years,
Ooh.
and we were wondering if we could offer a settlement, a lump sum, or should we just start doing the monthly payments?
No.
My experience, my knowledge. I've not actually gone through offering settlements, but to my knowledge, they're not going to take a settlement. Maybe if you're 84 years old and you're still carrying that $200,000 loan, then maybe they might. I don't know, but my hunch is there is no student loan provider, federal or private, that's going to take a settlement. Sally Mae, forget it. Private lenders, nah. And I don't think the federal government will do it either. They don't have to settle. If you think about it, Sally Mae, okay, all these student loans are backed up by the government. There's no reason for them to settle. Not saying they never have and never will, but there's technically no reason to.
Are they in collections?
Yes.
Are they in collections or are they just deferred?
They're not deferred anymore. They are in collections.
So these are private loans?
No, they're federal.
Okay, cool. I mean,
Well, when he said cool, I mean, I'm sure he didn't mean, oh, yay, you got deferred loans and.
and I would call them and see if they will. More than likely, they won't accept it.
Mhm.
But I would definitely give them a call and just offer them something. How much can you put towards them right now, if you could? Because settlement is
Right
pretty
now,
much one lump sum.
yes, sir. Right now we have just under 20,000.
They're not going to sell on 20,000 for a $60,000 bill. There's no reason for them to sell. Now look, don't start throwing rotten tomatoes at me, okay? Somebody writes, well, they settled on my, $60,000 bill and they took 5,000. Okay, there's always that one odd exception to the rule, okay? But in general, I don't know anyone, and I've had more student loan conversations with people than I ever should have. I've not ever met anyone that was able to get a significant settlement. They might settle on how much you have to pay to get it out of default. Okay, can you at least pay this amount? But as far as, hey, here's the total balance, settle it for pennies on the dollar, I don't know any experience. If you happen to have such experience, please share it in the comment sections with us.
And that's not including our emergency fund.
Yeah. I would just start making payments on them. I would call them and just immediately go ahead and put that $20,000 down on it right now.
If they have $20,000, I guess in my head, I'm trying to figure out why they're in default. She said they have $20,000. Why? I just kind of made that connection. They got 20. They got. Excuse the casual language at the end of the day. Okay, they have $20,000. Why are they even in default? And $62,000 in the way of student loans. Yeah, well, it's not great. Nothing to dance and party over. But if they're a two-income family, I'm actually trying to figure out why they have $20,000 but would allow the loan to go into default. The payment wouldn't even be that much. Well, of course, that's all relative to what you make, of course.
And just start making payments towards the rest. You say you've been doing the baby steps since 2019?
Correct.
Okay. So you weren't making minimum payments since 2019?
Exactly.
No.
Okay.
Why?
All right.
How come you just stopped paying on them?
Thank you. See, there we go. There we go. Snaps. Ask the same question, make the same prediction. I get snaps for that.
Well, actually, I've never really started. I was in school, and then I went back to school, so they've been deferred and deferred.
No, sweetheart. Deferment is one thing, default is another. So deferred won't land you in default. It only lands in default if you were done with your deferring and you just simply didn't make payments on it. And with $20,000 in the bank, I don't know why you wouldn't have made payments on it.
And then we just never started paying on. We were living paycheck to paycheck and not really making the best decisions.
Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me a few days back, the story that I did. See, I like to link all these stories together, okay? The story that I did, for those of you who watched it, do you remember the story I did just about a week ago on that couple? I will link it at the end. I always like to link them at the end so you can find them easily, okay? It's that couple that did the IRS, okay? The married, no, excuse me, they were divorced and they owe the IRS $100,000. Why? Because the husband had a business and he decided not to pay on it for 7 years. The wife, she was employed, so I believe she was a 1040, okay, 1040 employee. She decided, hey, if the husband's not paying on it, and they didn't get along clearly because they're divorced. If he's not going to pay on it, I'm not going to pay on either. Now I can admit when I've done something stupid, okay, but I can also look at other people and go, that was kind of stupid, okay. So this is kind of what it's reminding me of. It's like this ex-husband, this divorced couple, with the $100,000 with the IRS. Each one just decided they weren't going to pay on it, and then of course, they go to court, and the judge says, "Yeah, you owe up on the 100." This is kind of the same thing. At least I can rightfully, okay, I can say with honesty, okay, even though my student loan was forgiven, my student loan never was in default. I always tended to it. I always made sure I followed the rules and regulations as laid out legally by the government. This, with her just saying, I'm not going to pay the 62,000. That is a total voluntary default. That I feel was totally voluntary. She wasn't in a push to shove, I got to feed my children, can't get them to school unless
When we were younger.
Younger? How much younger were you? I mean, this was 2 years ago, and it just went into default 19. I would be interested to know how old they are, but she doesn't sound that young.
But then we woke up and had our Y, and in July 2019, decided to start paying off all the debt. We paid off a little over 70,000 so far.
Hey, that's amazing. What's your household income right now?
Okay, that is amazing, but to allow your student loan to go belly up to the point that it's at collections, they probably should have balanced that out a little bit better.
Right now it's 120. We
Hold
started.
on. Let me back up.
Right now it's 120. We did 70,000 so far.
Hey, that's amazing. What's your household income right now?
Right now it's 120. We started at around 85, and we've upped it this last year.
Why are they in default? That dead silence was by me as I'm trying to process. My brain needs to process this. You know what? You know what it almost sounds like. Okay, I'm gonna speak the honest truth here, right? It almost sounds like they just didn't want to pay it. It's not that this is not, from what I am gathering, this is not a couple that could not pay it. This is a couple that was choosing not to pay it. There's a difference. There are those people who are truly, truly struggling. I mean, the student loans, are so high, or their debt to income ratio is so far apart that these people are struggling. There are people with student loans that are literally making the decision, do I feed my kid or do I pay the student loan? Do I keep the lights on so my children can do homework at night with electricity, or do I pay the student loan? This doesn't sound like this, in my opinion. This does not sound like a case of two struggling people. 120,000 income. You have the ability to pay off 50,000 of debt, but you put the student loan to the side. It almost sounds like, I don't know. It almost sounds like they thought, well, it's really not going to affect us, so we'll just not pay it. Maybe if nobody says anything, we don't have to do anything. But obviously, when it went to collections, it's probably now starting to hurt credit scores. It's starting to hurt potential loans and things that they want to do. And that's why they're taking action. It's not taking action to pay off the bill so much as perhaps the reverberating effects of letting this bill go into default. I think, I don't know, I guess I could say my heart's not bleeding, not like it might in other circumstances.
120.
Awesome. How many kids do you have?
5.
5 kids.
Woo!
Well, my aunt and uncle had 5 kids, but that was also when a couple could make, you know, $25,000 each and have a house on the hill and 4 kids and 2 cars and all of that. That's what my parents had. They made half of what I make today. So 5 kids, we have to remember, in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s even, is not what 5 kids is today.
Ooh, Katie.
So here's the thing: you got a lot of mouths to feed. You put that 20 grand towards them today, then it immediately goes down to what, 42,000.
Right.
They should have done that to begin with. They shouldn't have ever been sitting on 20,000. You don't actually have a $20,000 savings account when you have debt. You just don't. I mean, it's good to have an emergency account. That is definitely important to have. You know, get some bills paid, 3, 4, 5 months early. Okay. But I'm the type that I don't actually look at it as, yes, it's a savings account for emergencies. But I also understand that in some ways it's not a real savings account. It's not a real savings account until I'm out of debt. When I finally got debt free, September this year, so just like, 8 weeks ago, if that, okay, when I finally became debt free, then I felt that now it's really a savings account. Until then, it's just emergency liquid savings. Yeah, okay, still call it a savings account. But that savings account in no way resembles whether or not I'm actually debt free. So they were paying on all their other debts, letting this one go into collections. Jeez.
And making what you make, you guys can hustle it and hustle it and hustle. It's going to be a grindy year, and nobody wants another grindy year after the last grindy year.
Especially with 5 kids.
But this debt was voluntary. This debt was totally voluntary. This was not a, this was not a $62,000 default that had to happen. This default was voluntary. That's the issue I have. This is why I don't feel sorry for them. Like I said, we're not talking a couple that is genuinely just struggling to make ends meet and trying to figure out, do we feed the kids? Do we put the roof over the head? Do we keep a car so we can go to the job? Which bill are we going to pay? Geez, and I don't want to say, could really tick some people off, but in some ways it kind of does. Because these people, yeah, they paid off $50,000 on a debt, but I don't sense that they're really struggling. Like I said, this is the same couple that the husband chose not to pay the IRS, or the wife chose not to pay the IRS. They both shrugged their shoulders until a judge said, hey, pay up. They were not going to do anything.
Oh, just get it done.
Yeah. Katie, are y'all on the budget, Katie?
Oh, yes, we are. We
Detailed
can
budget?
it that will be done by August
Okay, so it says you'll be done by August of this year or next year?
this year.
Oh, awesome.
Man, well, then
Very cool.
We good then. Yeah, absolutely. That's good. I like that, Katie. Yeah, congratulations. I love it. So yeah, just go ahead and put that.
We're congratulating a woman who voluntarily let her student loan go into default. Again, this was a choice they made. I'm not even sure why they called in, to be totally honest.
$20,000 towards it. Give them a call and ask them if they will settle.
I deeply hope they say no.
It depends on, I don't know. I mean, private loans, I know that you can get them to settle.
They're not going to settle on these federal loans, especially if they look at their income. They're not going to settle. They don't need to. It's federal.
Some agencies, depending on your financial situations, will allow you to settle, but more than likely they will not.
Yeah, they're going to look and go, you have $120,000 income. You owe $60,000. They're going to tell you to pay.
Because you can't even file bankruptcy on student loans, and so it's just very tricky on those. But give them a call and see, hey, can we work out something? We got $20,000 as a lump sum we can give towards it right now. Can we knock this down? Get some interest knocked down maybe. But more than likely they won't. If not, just hey, just attach that other $42,000, become debt free, so that way you and your family can move forward. All right, Katie.
All right. That's the end of this video, folks. I have no pity for these folks. This is one of those that I'm just like, dang, I really think if there were, I'm suspecting, like I said earlier, I'm suspecting that what caused them to even take action is it was starting to affect other areas of their life, in credit score and things that they want to do. Another thing is this is people who did not check their student loan during the 3-year moratorium, and let it sit in default. Like I said at the beginning, please, please call in to the federal government or your loan provider. Okay, look up Fresh Start. And I am positive. I'm willing to bet a paycheck. If you'll call in versus waiting for them to contact you, okay, you call in and plead your case. I'm sure they can help you, especially if it was the first time you were in default. All right, okay. Well, this was short and sweet. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit Chat. Have a great day. Bye.